Good afternoon, y'all. Today we are going to learn a little bit about sentence types. But first of all, let's review our 9 parts of speech. And today I have someone from the Reformation. Do you see she's a peasant woman? And she symbolizes all of the people who have lived on the earth who weren't royalty, who were probably not very well known, but who worked and lived and died and were good people, and into whom a great battle was fought, or for whom a great battle was fought to get the Bible into their hands. So, she is going to help us review the 9 parts of speech. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. Ready? 9 parts of speech. 9 parts of speech. 9 parts of speech. 9 parts of speech. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, conjunction, interjection, preposition, adjective, and article adjectives. 9 parts of speech. 9 parts of speech. Yeah, 9 parts of speech. 9 parts of speech. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, conjunction, interjection, preposition, adjective, and article adjectives. Today we're going to review very briefly, what is a verb? A verb is a word that asserts action, shows a state of being, links two words together, or helps another verb. I am actually really good at verbs. Do you see this hoe? This hoe is showing action. I'm hoeing away. That is an action. It shows a state of being because I am working. Do you see that? I am working. It's a state that I am in. Linking two words together. Let's see. I am a woman. So I and woman are being linked together. And helps another verb. Well, I'm helping someone else. So I am helping someone else. Am can actually form or function as a linking word, a state of being, and a helping verb. What did you know? Very good. Thank you very much. What should we call you? My name is Sally. Okay, Sally, thank you so much for joining us. How old are you? Oh, I'm very, very old. I'm about 600 years old. Oh, that's getting up there. That's really getting up there. I'm glad you can be with us today. Thank you, ma'am, very much. I'm happy to be here to help with grammar. You know, in my day, we did not have very much grammar. Well, we did have a form of grammar, but most of us didn't learn it. We didn't get the chance. So you, beloved children, take advantage of the opportunity you have to learn language, for it much blood has been spilt for the propagation of language, especially through the Bible. It is very precious, so hold it, dear, and keep it. All right, let's get going, Sally. Okay. Now, we're going to go talk about different sentence types. If some of you noticed on your this week's homework, you will notice that I have written several, I want you to circle which of these, simple, compound, or complex, is this your sentences. So you will need to identify which one it is, and we'll do that together in just a moment. But first, we're going to review these. Now, for some of you, this may be a review. For some of us, this is new. But Sally, what do you think of these houses? Oh, they are lovely. They're lovely. They look very similar to ones I used to live in. Very well, mostly the smaller ones. Not so much the bigger ones. We didn't have money for that. Oh, yes, you're right. Here is, so Sally, I'm going to put you right there for a minute, okay? But there are 3 different kinds of sentences. Can you say this with me? Simple, compound, complex. Say it with me. Simple, compound, complex. Simple, compound, complex. One more time. Simple, compound, complex. Think of sentences like a house. In order to have a complete sentence, who remembers the 5 parts of a sentence? The 5 parts of a sentence are subject, verb, capital letter, end mark, and complete sense. So the 2 things we're focusing on now are the subject and verb. Of course, it needs to have an end mark, like a period, a question mark, an exclamation point. It also needs to make sense. Let's see. Oh, capital letter. It needs to have a capital letter at the beginning of its sentence, like this. It needs to have an end mark, and it needs to make sense. So, but we're going to just kind of put these 3 on the shelf for a minute. We're going to focus on subject and verb. A sentence has to have a subject and a verb, right? Not only does a sentence have to have a subject and a verb, but a clause, okay? clause needs to have a subject and a verb. A phrase is just a group of words. It does not have both a subject and a verb. It might have one or the other, but it does not have both. But a clause will have both. So you'll see in many of our sentences that we have clauses. So when we have these houses, each of these houses represents a sentence or a clause. Okay? So in this sentence, let's read this one together. In a simple sentence, Jesus died for me. What is this sentence about? Jesus. What was being said about Jesus? Jesus died. Do we have a subject and a verb? Yes. So this has subject and a verb. Simple sentence has a subject and a verb. All right, now let's look at compound. A compound sentence is where you have two clauses. See, a house can stand on its own, right? So you have one house joined to another independent house by a walkway. And this walkway is a conjunction. Like for and nor, but or yet so. Okay, a conjunction and is a conjunction, but for so. Now there are different kinds of conjunctions, but just think of it as this clause can stand all by itself. If you take out the conjunction, can both houses stand by themselves? Yes, they can. It makes sense to have a house, have an independent house from each other. Now they can be joined together or they can be taken away. If I took away the houses, would it make sense to have a hallway just with no house? No, you can't just have a conjunction floating around there. That wouldn't make sense. So let's look at this. Jesus died for me. This is one clause. And there's our conjunction. He loves me. If I took away this and put a period there, would those stand by themselves? Jesus died for me, period. He loves me, period. Yes, they could be two independent sentences. So that's what makes this sentence compound, is because your and is simply continuing the sentence, is replacing a period, essentially, and it's joining them together. We have two independent clauses. Okay, there are two kinds of clauses, independent and dependent. All right? Hopefully you children are independent in your homework, whereas maybe some of your younger siblings or your toddler siblings are dependent for help with their schoolwork, right? Like your little 4 or 5 year olds, they're dependent on your parents. Whoops. All right, now let's look at complex. Complex can have various combinations. It can look a little bit different, which is why I wrote 2 examples here. Let's read this sentence. Jesus died for me because he loves me. So these sentences are almost identical, but our conjunction can actually indicate or determine whether our sentence is independent or dependent. Would it make sense for you to have a garage just by itself? Not really. It makes more sense to have a house by itself. So here's our first sentence. Jesus died for me because he loves me. Now this because is a dependent, or causes this clause to be dependent. Like this is why he died for me. I could just say he loves me, but the because is making it dependent on this. Actually, yes. So this is like the garage. It's still a clause as a subject and a verb, but it's like the garage here because of the because. Another thing you can have is you can have this and this. You can have a dependent clause. So, okay, I forgot to say, this is a dependent clause. This is an independent clause. So you can have examples like 2 independent clauses and a dependent clause. Jesus lived, there's our independent clause, and there's our conjunction. He died, there's our independent clause, because he loves me. This is our dependent clause. Do you see that? Because of this because. So these are the 3 types of sentences. And it's okay if you don't quite understand it all the way. We'll talk about it more. Let's dive into our sentences. Oh, I'm so ready. I was getting tired of waiting, although I have waited 600 years for this. Sorry about that, sweetie. Actually, more than 600 years. It's more like, I don't know, from 600 to 800 years old. Yeah, that's about right. Ooh, indulgences. I remember those. I always thought they were a little bit strange. Let's do this together. Okay, here we go. The wicked church leaders sold indulgences. Who sold indulgences? Who? Leaders. That's right. Leaders, subject noun. What is being said about leaders? Leaders sold. Verb. Very good. Leaders sold what? Oh, these nasty things. Indulgences. Very good. Does indulgences replace leaders? No. Does it describe leaders? No. No, D-O, label, verb, transitive. Very good. Now, Sally, what is church? Oh, church. Well, it's describing what kind of leaders, and leaders is a noun. So, and it's describing a noun, so it must be an adjective. That's exactly right. Very good, Sally. That's pretty good for a Renaissance education. What kind of leaders? Wicked. Adjective. Very good. And then what's the article adjective? Very good. Let's diagram this baby. We're going to put leaders here. Leaders sold. That'll be straight up. Indulgences. Now, these sentences are a little more complicated for you younger children, and that's okay because I think you're starting to get ready to start understanding direct objects. Indulgences are receiving the action of being sold. Okay, direct objects have to be nouns, just like the subject has to be a noun. A direct object also has to be a noun. Now, I specifically wanted to put some extra adjectives in here so you could start seeing them in action. Why did I capitalize the? Because the beginning of a sentence. Very, very good, children. Very good. Let's move on to the next. Okay, Sally, will you read this for us? Many people bought corrupt indulgences. What is this sentence about? Is it about many or is it about people? If you said people, you are correct. People, subject, noun. What is being said about people? People bought. Verb. People bought who or what? Indulgences. Does indulgences replace people? No. Does it describe people? No. D-O, label, verb, transitive. What kind of indulgences? Corrupt. Adjective. What's the article adjective? How many people? Many. Adjective. Remember, what questions does an adjective answer? What kind, how many, which or whose? What kind, how many, which or whose? Very good. There are no adverbs in here. Oh, we forgot something about this. Oh, let's look at this. What kind of sentence is this? How many subject and verbs do we have? Only one subject and only one verb. So what kind of sentence will it be? Simple, compound, or complex? If you circled simple, you are absolutely right. Very good. Poor sweet Emmy was having sadness, so we are holding Emmy now. Okay, let's see here. Where were we? Oh, we got everything mapped out. Let's go ahead and draw this. Ooh, very good. People. Now, here's a question. What if I got rid of people and said many bought corrupt indulgences? What would be the subject? Many would actually be the subject. So
yeah, many will be the many will.
That's exactly right, Emmy. Many would be the subject. But in this case, since we have the word people, then many is describing how many people. So people is the subject in this case. Interesting how grammar works. You have to think through things because not every word will act the same way in a sentence. It has a lot to do with context and what else is going on in the sentence. So, just something to think about. Okay. People bought. Emmy, can you say, many people bought corrupt indulgences? Can you say that? No. Feeling shy now? And then what's corrupt describing?
He couldn't.
It's describing indulgences.
Yes. But he just got into something.
Who got into something?
She.
Oh, she. This is Sally. You say hello to Sally. Hello, Emmy. How are you? Are you going to say hello to Sally? She's from the Renaissance period, from the Reformation.
Yeah.
She's very, very old. All right. Should we do our next sentence, Emmy?
Yes.
Okay. Emmy, what do you think about her?
Huh?
Are you a sweetie pie?
Yeah.
You are. Are you holding Sally? She's helping us with our grammar today. Should we do our next sentence?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. All right, Sally. Will you help us read this? Yes, ma'am. Other brave people gave them a much needed reformation. Who or what is this sentence about? People. Good. Subject noun. Oh, we forgot something. We forgot to say what kind of sentence this is. Simple, compound, or complex. How many substantive verbs are there? Just one set, which means this sentence is also simple. Very good. Other brave people gave. Okay, what is being said about people? People gave. Verb. Now, I see, Sister Allred, you are trying to trick us here. Let's see if these children can figure out the trick. People gave who or what? Do you know? People gave, is it people gave them or people gave reformation? Which is it? Which received the action of being given? If you said reformation, you are correct because people weren't giving away other people. People were giving a reformation. Very good, my children. Does reformation replace people? No. Does it describe people? No. D-O, label verb transitive. People gave reformation to or for whom? To them. That makes them an indirect object. Now, you older children will probably remember indirect objects have to be in between what two things? The verb and the direct object. And it has to be a noun or pronoun.
Mom, did you already?
So this is a different sentence pattern. We've done a few of them before, and it popped up again. All right, what kind of reformation? Now, this hyphen might throw you off. A much needed reformation. So this, because there's a hyphen, we will consider it one word. And since it's describing a noun, it would be an adjective. And what is a? Article adjective. What kind of people? Brave. Adjective. What kind of, which people?
Mom, is this yours?
Other.
Is this yours?
Adjective.
Mom, is this
Very
yours?
good. Yes, that little piggy is mine. We had him visit in our nest a few weeks ago. Okay, let's go ahead and write this down. What's going to go here? Here's
But
our
Mommy,
subject.
you did it.
People
You just.
gave I know the sentence could have been written better, but I specifically wanted to create an indirect object. It would have made more sense to say, other brave people started a much needed reformation, but I really, really wanted you older children to start practicing with indirect objects. Like if I said, Lizzie baked me cookies, then that would be an indirect object because it's saying who she baked them for. But if I said, Lizzie baked cookies for me, then me would no longer be an indirect object because it would not be between the verb and direct object. It would be the part of a prepositional phrase. So hopefully that made sense to a couple of you. Okay, let's see. Much needed.
Lead.
And other. This is going to be capitalized.
Lead.
Oh, and them. It's going to be.
What do you know, Mom?
There you go. What are you holding? Oh, are you holding Sally? Sally loves you. What are you holding in your other hand? What's right here? A pig! Oh, Wilbur the pig visited us recently. Let's do our last sentence. Okay. Oh, we've got to do this. Oh, I keep forgetting. Okay, how many sets of subject and verbs do we have? Just one set. So that makes it a simple sentence. All right, you older children, are you ready for a treat? We are doing something today called infinitives. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. I had to think about it for a minute. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. Like, I want to go to the store. I want to be more Christ-like. So anytime...
I want to be like Christ-like.
You do?
Yeah.
You are already perfectly Christ-like. You're adorable. Okay, I want to be more like you, Emmy.
Yeah.
Submissive, willing to be entreated. So to be is called an infinitive. So I'm going to sing this song for you 2 more times. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. See if you can sing with me. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. You sing it with me. An infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. She didn't quite get it. That's okay. So if I said to be or not to be, that is the question. To be would be called an infinitive. Now this is, you guys, this is a huge step forward. And it's okay if you don't quite understand it perfectly well, but I wanted you to just give you a little bit of exposure of this. Oh, I need you to let go. And no, please let go. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. As the Catholic Church needed reform, Christ can reform us to be more perfect people. So what is our, first of all, what do we notice? Let's look at our prepositional phrases and conjunctions. What any prepositional phrases we see? Well, you might have been tempted to say to. To is a prepositional phrase. And you're right, to can be a preposition. If I said to the store, then store is its object. But in this case, to be, is be a noun? No, it's actually not. It's a verb.
Mom,
To plus a
hair is
verb.
brown.
It is brown. This is not, a preposition has to be followed by an object of a preposition. That's a noun. So this is a verb. So if it's to plus a verb, then it's an infinitive. So to can also sometimes be prepositions. So this is why it's very important to think through these things. It teaches you how to think, and it takes a lot of practice.
Does it work?
All right, so
Mom, does you,
there are
Mom,
no...
does you just work?
Yeah, it works. There are no prepositional phrases. What about conjunctions?
And you persist?
As. This is a
Yeah.
conjunction. Emmy, Now, this is a dead giveaway that this is going to be a dependent clause right here, because as the Catholic Church needs to reform, I can't just have a sentence just stick like that. Christ can reform us to be more perfect people. So we already know this is going to be a dependent clause, which means it's already going to be complex. We already know that because as is going to be our dependent clause right there. So let's start with this clause, and then we're going to do this clause, okay? As the Catholic Church needed reform, who or what is this sentence about? Catholic Church. Subject noun. What is being said about Catholic Church? Catholic Church needed verb. Catholic Church needed who or what? Reform. Does reform replace the Catholic Church? Does it describe Catholic Church? No, D-O, label verb transitive. The is article adjective. As is a subordinating conjunction. Sub means below. All right, let's do this clause. Christ can reform us to be more perfect people. Okay. This is going to be exciting. Who or what is this sentence about? Christ.
Hello? Can I cuddle?
Subject noun. What is being said about Christ? Christ can reform. Verb, helping verb. Oh, Emmy, I can't have you color on that. Nope. Okay, guys, now this is where it's tricky, okay? Christ can reform who or what? He can reform us, but it's actually saying Christ can reform us. Well, hold on. Us is what the reforming or to be perfect people is happening to. So Christ can reform to be more perfect people. This entire thing, you guys, is a direct object. And I had Laurie look over this as well. And this is what she said. So this entire phrase is a direct object. And you're like, what? That's crazy. I don't get that. Nope, don't put it on there. Nope.
Can I put it on?
So if this is the direct object, then this can reform to be more perfect people to who or what? Us is the indirect object.
What do I
You guys lost? That's okay. That's okay. I just want to show you guys how crazy grammar can get. And it's actually so much fun because it challenges me, and it's actually really fun for my brain to do this challenge.
How would it go?
All right. So our core sentence, because this is subordinate, our core sentence is this. Christ okay, actually, sorry. This is our first sentence, so we're going to do this one first. I had to double check my notes with Sister Update. Okay. Catholic Church.
Okay.
I did not make myself enough room.
Mom, I did them all.
Needed
Mom, done.
reform.
Mom,
Oops, that goes over here.
and then this.
Okay. Catholic Church needed reform. Now,
Mom, where's she?
here's going to be our next
Mom,
sentence,
where's
okay?
she?
I don't know.
Did she fall?
I don't know where she went. Sally disappeared. She went back to the Reformation period. We'll just say, okay, Christ.
Oh,
Be capitalized.
there she is.
Oh, you found her?
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Christ can reform. Now this is where it gets fun. I'm just gonna put us here for now. Now we get to
I want her to talk about you.
You want me to talk about her? We get to make this little stand here. Okay. And then can reform. Okay. To
Mama don't want to put a
be
baby. Mama don't want to put a baby.
people. And then under here, put more. Okay, we can't say to be more people. Right. Okay. So we have perfect is modifying.
I want a moco. I want the moco.
So okay.
I want the moco.
To be. Okay.
Somebody give me a
Okay.
paper.
Perfect.
Give me a paper. I need people.
Be here.
People.
And then what is more modifying? It's modifying perfect, actually, which is an adjective. What modifies an adjective? An adverb. Which is why we're going to put it here, not under people, because it's not actually modifying people. And then Sister Updike said, in this case, we have the subjects joining the conjunction. Because Christ and Catholic Church are connected. Whew, you guys, that was a big old fat one. And it's okay if you don't understand it all. I just want to expose you a little bit to it. And I had to think through this one a lot as well. So is this a simple, compound, or complex sentence? Do we have two independent clauses? Or do we have a dependent clause? We have a dependent clause. So this is going to be complex. You older kiddos, if you're still here, way to go. Kudos for you. We shall see you next week.